Oh. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam, Trailokyam Sacharacharam. Tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhuscha sakha Tvameva Vedya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So where are we in our text?
Chapter 7, number 14.
Chapter 7, verse 14. You help us out?
Devi Yesha Gunamayi Mammaya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapatyante Maya Metang Tarantite. Verily, this divine illusion of mind, made up of gunas, caused by the qualities, is difficult to cross over. Those who take refuge in me, they alone cross over this illusion.
So again, there's a couple ways to approach this. So Gita's a very old text, and its language draws on the jargon, the language of the Sankhya philosophy and some of its ideas. So in the Sankhya philosophy, all of Prakriti, all of nature is made up of the three gunas, tamas, rajas, and sattva. Immobility, illusion, darkness, delusion, tamas. Activity, movement, emotion, desire, ambition, anger, greed, rajas. Clarity, knowledge, stillness, peace, silence. And cosmically, when the three gunas are in equilibrium, there's no creation. Sankhyas don't talk about this. It's a mystery. Something moves the three gunas out of equilibrium, and creation takes place. It's not a whole lot different. If you think of it, the potentiality is there in the singularity. And then something made it go out of equilibrium, and we had the Big Bang and inflation. It's very similar in many ways. Now, for the materialist, what made the singularity decide to inflate? For the Sankhya's, what moved nature out of its equilibrium? God? We don't know. But it is this stuff of Prakriti that forms the phenomenal world. Now, what Vedanta thunders is matter is not separate from consciousness. As it were, consciousness forks. There is Nirguna Brahman, Brahman without qualities, ever known as the subject. It's myself. Then there's Saguna Brahman, Brahman with qualities, known as Prakriti. It's easy to understand if you go to the dream state. Remember, you are the god of your dream. In the dream, you, your one undivided mind, becomes all this is hot. This chair is taller than the other ones. Becomes the objects in your dream. It's your mind itself. It's both the knower, the knowing, and the known. So the Vedanta scriptures, the yoga scriptures, do not say that the world is created and substantial. The word Maya carries connotations of illusion and delusion. We have to reconcile these two great scriptural statements. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Brahman, consciousness alone is real. The names and forms are mithya, illusory, seen but not real. And then Chandogya thunders, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. All this world is verily God, is Brahman. It's not God plus a world. So, what is this world? It is various things and beings expressing various combinations of the three gunas, qualities of mind. And it is difficult to cross over because one of the elements in the world subject to Maya is beings are deluded. They do not know they are consciousness. They do not know they are not their bodies or their personalities. And in that ignorance, desire develops that impels beings into action. That's what makes the world go round. And here Lord Krishna says it is hard to cross over. Now, the dualists say you can cross over if you worship Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna's out there. I love you, Krishna. That's certainly a good thing. Like loving Jesus or loving the mother. Better that you love your idea of God than loving money or loving crack whatever it is. But the deeper meaning, remember when Krishna talks about himself, he's talking about the self. He's talking about your self. So I like to say there are many paths up the mountain of truth. Many of them, very valid paths. But at the top of the mountain of truth is the temple of truth. And it only has one door. And that door is Aham. Ultimately, the mystic needs to find out, who am I? What is my essential nature? Beyond the world of name and form, the body, the energy, the mind, the intellect. And the mystic sees, oh, all I am is witnessing consciousness. That pure subjectivity is awareness itself, which is changeless. Self in me is not like the self in you. The self in me is the self in you. And that is Krishna. Any thoughts on this? It can be interpreted dualistically. There's nothing wrong with that. Swamiji always used to say, the person who thinks their ego is real, they think they're a person, they think they're their body, and denies the reality of a personal God is the greatest of fools, because then all you're left with is your own puny willpower. If you feel like a person, by all means, love God. But at the highest flights of meditation, both the individual and the personal God are. Next verse.
Namam dushkritino mudha prapatyantre naradhamaha mayaya paratඥāna asuram bhavamashritaha. The evildoers, the deluded, the lowest of men, do not seek me. They, whose discrimination has been destroyed by their own delusions, follow the ways of the demons.
So when we talk about the demons, we usually talk about them with two names. The Asuras, which is the one he's used here, and the Rakshasas. These are not external beings living in Naraka, hell, or other lokas. What they are dimensions of our own minds. The Rakshasas are a metaphor for our greediness, our attachment. I want, Taiwan, Taiwan. The asuras are metaphors for our anger. Asuras were always pissed off. And most of our afflictions can be reduced to those two things. I want it different than it is. Now, some of these secondary afflictions, grief, sadness. Why am I grieving? Why am I sad? Because it isn't the way I want it. I may not even know why I'm sad. It's just not okay. Of course, we all know what anger is. Anger is thwarted desire, unmet expectation. So, people who are afflicted by the asuras and the rakshasas, he doesn't talk about rakshasas here, but it's the same idea, are people who are convinced. My problem is I'm not getting what I want. When the mind is covered by ignorance and this individuality appears, I feel like a person. The term that I've been using lately is it inherently has a quality of spiritual impoverishment. I'm not okay. It's not okay. The world's not okay. I want. I either want to fix the world or I want to fix me or both. I want to fix other people. I want to fix the politics. I'm the piece of poop that the whole world revolves around. Nobody's as bad off as I. I'm worthless. I might as well just go kill myself. And that condition, that spiritual impoverishment, is the fruit of spiritual ignorance. So the fools, the ignorant, and we need to have great compassion for them because they do not know what the problem is. I need a different spouse, or I need to get rid of the spouse, or I need a different job, or I need a different house, or I need more money, or if I just get more money, I'll be. That's what I want. Our Sunday guests. I'll be okay. There's no security in the world, but we don't need security. You are secure. Or if only I were thinner, if only I were better looking, if only I didn't have this character trait, if only I were more socially acceptable, if only I had more of an extroverted personality, if only I were smarter, if only I whatever, whatever, whatever. All of this is rooted in spiritual ignorance. And none of us in class tonight are kids. If you've operated from that paradigm in your life, what the yogi says is, how's that working out for you? Maybe it isn't working because the presupposition is profoundly incorrect. What's that presupposition? I'm not okay. I need to be fixed. The world needs to be fixed. And that's an illusion. So what Krishna is saying here, there are those people who pursue the world of cash and prizes. The one with the most toys wins. We have that acquisitive turn of mind. I just need more of this or more of that, or go here, go there. And it just tortures people. It just tortures people. It's very powerful. And Krishna says, nope, it's the wanting itself that is your suffering. Come home. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Buddhamate. Very famous hymn of Shankara. Worship Krishna, worship Krishna, worship Krishna. My foolish foolish. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritinorjuna arto jigyasuratharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. Four kinds of virtuous men worship me, O Arjuna: the dissatisfied, the seeker of systematized knowledge, the seeker of wealth, and the wise, O best among Bharatas.
So here he's dividing human beings into these four categories. And in fact, what he has said, everybody seeks me, whether they know it or not, but many just by the wrong method. So let's go through what he means by this. So the first group,
The dissatisfied.
yes, I'm restless, I'm discontent. Whatever I thought was going to make me happy, I've gotten it, and it tastes like ashes, or I've tried to get what I want and I'm disappointed because I couldn't get it. Maybe there's something more. I like to tell people in my youth, I was a complete hedonist. Listen carefully. I still am, but the world just got too small. It's too little. Boring and repetitive. Boring and repetitive. It was dissatisfied. Next category.
The seeker of systematized knowledge.
Yes, these are people who want to figure it out. What is truth? How does the world come about? Is it astrology? Is it Ayurveda? Is it molecular biology? Is it quantum physics? They're scientific. And in the end, greatest is the science of self-knowledge. What is that knowledge by which everything is known, without which nothing can be known, beyond which there's nothing to know? Third category?
The seeker of wealth.
Yes. I want stuff because stuff makes me feel good. Is the Zoom machine still working? I saw the thing change.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. That must be my phone doing things. So the seeker after wealth. If I get a blah, 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 then it'll all be better. What is the chintamani? The wish fulfilling gem. What is it that tastes better than anything? I love the term Vidyaranya uses, Brahmananda Rasaswa, the taste of the juice of the bliss of Brahman. It's the greatest wealth. No one is more fearful than a wealthy person. You have lots of stuff. You're always afraid something's going to happen to it. And the last category, the fourth?
The wise.
Yes. These are few and rare. Those who have this mystic love for the infinite. They have intimations of the divine. They keep wanting to get closer, deeper into the infinite. God is the center of their lives. All right, let's see what he says about these four different kinds of people. Going on.
Tesham Tesham Gyani Nityayukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate Priyo Hi Jnanina Priyo Hi Jnaninotyartha Artha Mahamsa Chamama Priya. Of them the wise, ever steadfast and devoted to the One, excels. For I am exceedingly dear to the wise, and he is dear to me.
Yes. So the one, the great lover of the infinite, the one who has Atmaramana, who knows Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. I am Brahman, all this world is Brahman. This is wisdom. For the wise person, there is no greater love, no greater joy. And when it says that Krishna is, they are dear to Krishna, doesn't mean God has favorites. We invoke the grace of God by our surrender. So he says the wise are the highest. Going on.
Udara sarva evaite Udara sarva evaite Jnani tvat naiva mata आस्तिक आस्तिक सही युक्ता
They will pass way. Let's start again. Yeah.
उदारा सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी त्वात्मैव मे मतम् आस्थितः स हि युक्तात्मा मामेवानुत्तमां गतिम्. Noble indeed are all these, but the wise man I deem as my very self, for steadfast in mind, he is established in me alone as the supreme goal.
So the others still have an object of love. I and thou, whatever it be. And eventually lead you to the self. But the wise person has this understanding. There's no greater love, the padama prema, than the capacity to revel in the self. Back in the second chapter, verse 55, when a person casts off all the desires of the mind, O Partha, and is satisfied in the self, by the self, then they're said to be sthita prajna, person of steady wisdom, a wise person. A jnani, or a brahma. Next verse.
Bahunam janmanam mante ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेव सर्वमिति Samahatma Sudurlabha. At the end of many births, the wise man comes to me, realizing that all this is Vasudeva, the innermost self. Such a great soul is very hard to find.
Yes. So the implication here, as Swamiji always used to say, it's an evolution, not a revolution. We cannot storm heaven with willpower. I call it being spiritually butch. It doesn't work. Every soul comes home to God, inevitably. But here Krishna is saying it's a process. It's a process through many lifetimes. Just like the Ganges River, Mother Ganga, starts as a trickle in a glacier, a place called Gomukh. Have you ever been there?
No.
It used to be Gangotri was the headwaters, but the glaciers receded. So it's like several miles further up. It's an ice cave, and out of it comes this stream. It's the headwaters of the Ganges. And it passes Gomukh, and it goes down through the Himalayas, Uttarkashi, and then down to Rishikesh. And then it spills onto the Gangetic plain at Haridwar. All these other rivers gaining force and power. Travels east through Varanasi, finally spills into the ocean at the Bay of Bengal. Isn't that where it ends up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's a movement. It's a movement. So unlike some of the Christian traditions where you've got the saved and the damned, where you've got infinite consequences for finite actions, either positive or negative. In yoga, we say nobody fails. Don't worry, you're safe. You're going to come home. So we've got these two forces that are operating in the human psyche. We've got karma. I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try this, I'll try that. But if that were the only force, we'd be going around and round in circles forever. But underneath that is another force, the Dharma, the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal Dharma. Doesn't mean just the teaching. And listen carefully, it operates in the human mind as the pleasure principle. From the moment we get up in the morning to the moment we go to bed, I seek the good by my highest understanding of it and avoid misery. That is the dharma of the human mind. The only real question is, where is the good? We try all sorts of things until eventually someone says, why don't you try spirituality? You get a taste, you learn a few of the principles and practices. This is improving my life. We get the divine discontent. I want more God. It's not a circle, it's a spiral. Now, ignorance is really weird. So, a friend brought a relative to talk with me last week. His relative is a young man, he's 30 years old, a sex worker, and a drug addict. And he's really unhappy. Really, really unhappy. And I talked with him about the possibility of giving up doing the drugs. And he was terrified. His mind state without the drugs is so painful. Even though they're wrecking his life. He can't see a way out. That's only an extreme case of the human condition. I need to work harder. I need more money. I need to deal with this. If only I had of that. It's all out there. It's all fixing my ego. And just like for this young man, he's basically saying, if you had my problems, you'd use drugs too. I'm so messed up. I'm so terrible. I need them. He doesn't see that they're causing his bondage. So also you and I, so attached to the world, so identified that we think we need that in order to be okay, in order to be happy. Not realizing that's what's causing the problem. And the guru says it over and over again, and the scripture says it over and over again, and we may intellectually believe it, But that's not how we live our lives. Such is the power of Maya. Any thoughts? Going on.
कामैस्तैस्ते पृथग्ज्ञाना प्रपद्यन्तेऽन्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया. Those whose wisdom has been looted away by this or that desire go to other gods, following this or that rite, led by their own nature.
So, here the deeper understanding, it doesn't mean that worshiping Krishna is the right way. And if you're a Southern Baptist or a Mormon or a Buddhist, you're doing it wrong. Doesn't mean that. Many people think they're a good Christian, a good Hindu. They have an Ishta Devata, they have a god that they're devoted to. But in truth, the God that you worship is where you think your good is. Is it money? Is it the esteem of other people? And what's fascinating, we can also be attached and identified with their misery. Nobody is as pathetic as I am. I have this wrong, I have that wrong. I spend all morning reviewing my misery, and I'm so attached to it. Fascinating, fascinating. What we're really seeking always is Krishna. We just keep looking for love in all the wrong places, as the country western song says. That's what he means by following another right or another way. If I think financial security is what's going to give me peace, that's my God. If I think the embrace of a lover is what's going to make me happy, that's my God. So we have to be honest with ourselves. In the Hebrew scripture, Yahweh says to Moses, "For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God. Thou shalt not have any other gods before me." Interesting statement. At one level, it means that the early Israelites still had household gods that they worshiped. Yahweh may be pretty powerful, but, you know, I'm going to give Baal and Mot, a little bit of juice too. Yeah. But the deeper meaning is, oh, yes, I believe the self is the highest and greatest good. I believe Krishna is the highest and greatest good. But I have to spend all my time, energy, and worrying about the world. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Don't put anything above God. And when he says he's jealous, it doesn't mean God has human emotions. There's Deepa. She's, going out to dinner with friends. I'm just gonna walk her. It's not like that. If we place other things above God, we end up suffering. We're not punished for our sins, we're punished by them. And I can prove it to you. If you're unhappy, if you're afflicted by the Rakshasas, wanting, greed, or the Asuras, you're angry, what are you not getting that you want? You have a false God. It's that simple. Such is the power of Maya. We hear this over and over and over again. We intellectually get it, but in our hearts, we don't let go. I was talking with a student today, and she's just becoming aware of how her control issues just pervade her mind and how much suffering it causes her. It's not just physical things. Any thoughts?
I have a question.
Sure, Ashley.
So I know that I tend more towards the dualistic side of things, but what if that longing and that desire, the wanting is to experience God, experience Krishna in form?
You're a fool. It's real simple because Krishna doesn't have a form. That's like saying, I want the speed of light to be 187,000 miles a second. I'm sorry, Jim, it's 186,000 miles a second, but I want it to be 187.
How do you get past that?
Understand that you're stupid. Krishna is not a physical body. There's not some dude that you're going to meet in a bar or online who's got blue skin and 4 arms. That's all metaphor. And there's only one lover who will never let you down, and that's Krishna. But you worship God in spirit because God is spirit and truth. Now you can go chasing Krishna with a physical form all you want, knock yourself out, and come to me weeping and say, why? But a real mystic gives up romanticism about the spiritual life. Face what is. Nowhere in scripture does it say some guy's going to walk through your front door and hop into your bed and say, I'm Krishna. It'd be nice. But that's like asking the speed of light to change. You have to let it go. I'm not saying you can't have, lovers, but don't expect them to be anything else other than they are. The self in them is Krishna, but that's the truth about everybody. Krishna is yourself. Krishna is the self in every guy you date. But in terms of their equipment, the body, their minds, their intellect, they will let you down. Because their very existence is the fruit of ignorance.
Hey, Jim, it's Joanna. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can.
Hey, well, I think Ashley's question is not foolish. I think it's really interesting. I think in my own experience, Krishna is a bit of a trickster. The energy of Krishna can appear. I don't know exactly what Ashley meant of, if she's looking for a human form, but I have had visitations of Krishna as I understand Krishna. And it's been very surprising and I would just say very surprising. And I think that there's a mysterious quality to this that we don't actually know the answer to. So, I mean, I hear you saying with deep conviction that that cannot happen, but I'm not so sure. And maybe that speaks to my own ignorance, but I don't know.
Of course, divine manifestations show up, but they have a beginning and an end. And the Lord is always in charge. I mean, this is a very, very deep thing. I too have had manifestations, not of Krishna, mine were of Jesus as a child. But it led me ultimately into non-dualism. But if you get stuck on what I want is a form of Krishna, everybody has their own path. I'm not going to argue with you.
Jim, I have a question on that.
Who's this, Atik?
Atik, yeah. So, when we were chatting way early on, you said, okay, well, it's okay. I see this as like a desire, right? I guess. So you said it was okay to have the desire of mumukshutva, and then one day you'll take that and also throw it into the fire. So is this what we're talking about, or is this different?
No. So a good Muslim loves and worships and surrenders to Allah.
Yes.
The only thing you need to know about Allah is you're not it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But for the mystic, that's not true anymore. So as long as you think you're a person, you're identified with your ego, identified with your body, by all means, love a personal God. It's paradoxical.
Oh.
And you can, of course, mystics have all sorts of manifestations, and they have a relative reality. But in the end, if you take it down to the level, I want to find the perfect partner that I'm going to go to bed with, and they're going to be Babaji or Krishna or the Divine Mother. You're only asking to get hurt.
Okay.
I mean, there's an old slogan. If you want to settle down, you're going to have to settle for. Because no person will completely meet all your expectations. So even Joanna, with your mystic experiences with Lord Krishna, I think it's wonderful. But they come and they go. And, ultimately, when you are a bhakti yogi, you love God till you disappear. That's what you do. But what you have to give up is the greedy approach. I want this, I want this, I want this. I want my needs met. All that, in all the traditions, that has to go.
Thank you, Jim.
Was that Joanna?
Yes. And thank you, Ashley. I really liked your question.
Well, and Ashley and I have had conversations outside of class. So I was trying to address things that I know from other conversations we'd have. So
It is a little bit of a both and for me too, because there is that wanting of a, Krishna in form as like a spouse, but there's also my Pentecostal self that I grew up in the charismatic, tradition that there was a lot of emphasis on encountering God, like manifestations and things like that. And so
in the end, everything is a manifestation. Everything is a teaching. I have a very, very dear friend, and God speaks to her through feathers. And she finds a feather on the sidewalk, and then, oh, what's this mean for me today? This is the synchronous universe that we live in. This is the deepest meaning of Mahamudra. The whole universe is the gesture of the infinite. So if you have one experience of Krishna on, January 1st, and you don't have another one till 3 years later, Krishna didn't go anywhere. We were just not paying attention. Krishna's everywhere. But he's not the dude you meet in the bar. And I've known a lot of people who go, oh, and then they get romantic ideas about another person. Joanna, you help me out with this because you're a professional. Tell us what limerence is.
I don't know.
I was taught it's in new love when you see the other person and they're just perfect. Everything they do is just perfect. And all you can do is see the shininess and stuff like that.
Yes. The
And then,
infatuation.
yeah. And then after a while, that wears off and we're terribly disappointed. Oh, they're a human being with
Yeah.
character traits. And they don't always meet all my needs. And that's human relationship. So the other partner may not be Krishna, but they sure are your guru. If you want to know what your character defects are, just get in a relationship. They'll tell you, or you'll see them. Good discussion. Good discussion.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
What about the converse of it? Like, because one converse approach, which is I was raised with a lot of Dvaita in my life, with a lot of proximity. That's sort of a part of my DNA. But since having found Advaita, there's been a lot of assessment of the material universe versus the real, right? And then at some point in the Gita, we encounter statements that, even the material universe is all Brahman. So then now I've started looking at everything as Brahman,
Mm-hmm.
which is like things I like, things I don't like, whether it's a desire or an aversion, everything is okay because it's all
Mm-hmm.
Brahman, and it's ephemeral, all of it, right? Like, so what Is that okay?
Of course it is. That's beginning to see wisdom. What gets me into trouble is when I think this particular thing is God or this person is God and the rest of you are chopped liver. That's what gets us into trouble. Either see it as mithya, illusion, or see it all as God. But what gets me into trouble is when I think, oh, that's divine over there, and all this is just.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, so if you're beginning to see even your pain is a manifestation of God, Jai, that's good. Because what'll happen is you'll quit resisting. You'll start to surrender and accept.
Yeah. Both pain and the things that and people that give pain. You know?
Yeah, it's all Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. That's why I love that mantra so much. It's all God in the end. Now, I'm going to contradict my own comments that I made to Ashley. So there's a great writer, his name is Christopher Isherwood, who himself was a Vedantin. And he was an elderly gay man. He was living in Los Angeles, and he was a deep follower of Vedanta. His guru was Prabhavananda, if I recall. And he fell in love with this boy. And he didn't know what to do. So he went to his guru and says, what should I do? And the Swami thought for a moment and says, always see him as Lord Krishna. But that was a specific teaching for a specific person at that time. All right. Any more on this topic? To summarize, though, the main thing I was sharing with Ashley, if you think you're going to find a perfect human being that will meet all your needs, Krishna in human form, that isn't how it works. Everybody is Krishna. Everybody you have a date with is Krishna, meaning the self in them is the infinite. But the body, mind, intellect is a karmic predicament. Prarabdha karma. And they will have many, many beautiful divine traits. And they will have character defects. They will have kleshas. Now, if we see them as Krishna, if they have a klesha and I react to it, there's Krishna poking at me, teaching me to accept and to renounce. So in that sense, your partner is Krishna. Your partner is Guru. But if you're looking for some romantic divine ideal, doesn't exist. And you know, it's interesting. In Hindu tradition, people don't fall in love. Parents get together and they find another family with an appropriate child or youngster, and they arrange the marriage because the understanding is you don't fall in love, you learn to love someone. And you marry someone for 7 lifetimes because it takes a long time to learn to love someone. It's not easy. It's not easy. For some of us, it comes more easily than others. Again, depending on our karma. But any person is an incarnation of Krishna, an incarnation of the Mother. Just be very careful about spiritual romanticism with human beings. All right, we'll end here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Oh, that's it.